Welcome back, everybody. Money Mondays. I'm your host, Feras Moussa, and you got just me today. Figured, we wanted the better half of the team on the call, and so unfortunately, my buddy Ben was not able to make it today, but I'm here. Money Mondays is every Monday, 3:30 Central, and today we're talking about what happens after investing in an apartment deal. This is something that we get asked a lot from new people, right? As people are trying to get into the space, right? Maybe you've never done an investment, maybe you've done some residential real estate, and they want to understand really what does the life cycle of a syndication look like, right? There's the investment side, but really what can you expect after? So we're going to dive into that here today, here shortly. And if you have any questions, please ask them. I will answer them live. And so this is the first time I do it, answering questions and reviewing them. So if you have anything, please ask them. But with that said, first thing that we get asked, what is the typical life cycle of a real estate syndication investment, right? So with any deal, right, just as a reminder, syndication is the art of pooling together investors' money to go buy and, basically acquire a larger property. Typically, that larger property gives you more, better returns, gives you a full-time staff, gives you better debt, and really for a passive investor, it's hands-free, right? It's very passive. And so, what we do is we go out, we find opportunities to purchase, we put the deal together, we put the debt together, we raise the money with the investors, and then we close on the property, and then we operate the property, right? So from an LP perspective, right, what can you expect? Well, first and foremost, it's reviewing the presentation on what the opportunity looks like, right? And this is where I advise people, please read the PPM, please watch the presentation if your operator gives a presentation, and understand the deal. Right, make sure the deal is something that makes sense for you. Not everybody is interested in the same deals. Some people are looking for long-term holds. Some people want short-term holds. Some people are looking for cash flow. Some people are looking to maximize their dollars. Figure out if that deal is a fit for you. And so review the PPM, and afterwards, right, you complete the paperwork. There's a set of paperwork that has to be completed by every operator, right? It's legally required by the SEC to complete the paperwork. And then you fund the deal, right? And typically what we tell investors is that's really the gist of most of the work as a passive investor, right? But that's not where your participation stops. And so from there, the deal gets closed. Typically the operators will email out when the deal closes, right? Whenever we email it within 24 hours of closing, because typically closing can be a little bit of a moving target. And then from there, right, we do monthly distributions and monthly updates. And so as an LP, make sure you understand when the operator does their updates. Some operators do quarterly, some operators do monthly, some operators do annually, right? And we've heard from investors that it's kind of frustrating that you don't really have a sense as to what's happening on your deal, what's going on, where things are until a quarter later or 6 months later. And so for Disrupt Equity, we kind of pride ourselves on being very, very available, right? We like to answer questions. We like to direct people and share what's going on. And so we send updates every month with a full financial package. And so on our management company, right, we do self-manage. It's a big effort to get all the financials ready every month, month to month, so we can continue to send those out to investors. And so that really is a good segue to kind of the next question, right? When should you expect once you've sent in your funds for a real estate syndication? So as mentioned, you send in the funds, the deal closes, you're getting updates from the operator, right? Understand when their distributions look like. I know that's a question a little bit later. We start distributions typically 6 months into it because, again, once you step into a deal, you really don't know what you've inherited. It takes a few months for everything to settle and for you to start to be able to really execute the business plan. And so for us, we hold any distributions for 6 months, and then we start from there and then ramp it up as it makes sense appropriately. And so again, some operators do distributions very differently. Some do it the day of close. Some do it 2 years after closing. Really understand what's a fit for you. And then ultimately, as an investor, hopefully you're getting distributions. And then at the end of this life cycle of the deal, right, there's a sale. The operator is exploring, when it makes sense to sell, evaluating what the return profile looks like as an investor, right, and finding the right opportunity to make that exit for investors. And so for us, typically, we do that exit. And then from there, right, once the deal sells, that's not the only time that basically as an investor you're getting a chunk of money. Typically, right, what we like to do is we like to return capital plus a big amount of proceeds, within the first week or so. Then from there, right, typically it's up to 6 month ramp down. There's a lot of things that it takes to wind down these properties, folks. You're getting, refunds from utility companies that take months. You're getting sometimes a tax refund. There's a lot of unknowns, AP that comes in. And so as an investor, expect it to take at least, probably on average, I'd say about 6 months for the full wind down to happen. And so, as operators, we typically do a big distribution, another big distribution, and then we wait kind of once things have really settled, then we do that final distribution. And so as an investor, that's what to expect. But again, that's not to mean that you can't ask questions along the way, understand what's happening. Not every deal is perfect, right? There's a lot of ups and downs. And that's why we like to say an educated investor is a good investor. And so get out there, get educated, understand what's happening, and ask your operator those hard questions. And so let's go through a couple more questions. So when should you expect to see passive cash distributions from your investment? Again, that varies by operator, so please, understand your operator, talk to them, see what they're expecting for that deal. And that can vary, even the same operator could do it differently between deals. And so something to keep in mind. Next question, what updates should you expect monthly, quarterly, and annually from a real estate syndicator? And so for us, we like to do monthly updates as well as monthly distributions, right? Same thing every month. Now, where that changes is really on the annual, right? Typically, you get a K1 from the operator sometime in that February timeframe. If they're a little bit late, it might be March or April. But as an investor, you are a shareholder in the LLC that owns the assets. You do get a K1, and that's the document, that's a tax document similar to a W-2 that explains, how much income or losses did you achieve for that investment. And so again, you should expect that from each investment that you're in that February, March timeframe typically. So let's keep going. What does Disrupt Equity do differently than other syndication firms? Full financials, monthly distributions. So yeah, for us, every month we send full financials. These are the financials that we get from a property management company. These are the same financials that third-party clients get from the property management companies as well. So it's a full packet. It has everything and anything that is going on in the asset. We pride ourselves in full transparency, for better or for worse, and really want investors to be able to go see what's going on. And so we don't hide that from investors. I know some other firms might not send those out monthly, might not send it out at all, so up to you. Additionally, we do monthly distributions. We have the right tools, systems to allow us to do monthly distributions, and 99% of our investors basically get that ACH every month. I have one friend/investor who literally sends me a screenshot every single month that we send a distribution because he's excited. He's happy that we're giving distributions and haven't missed a beat there. So again, different operators do different things, and so please understand what you can expect with your operator. And so that said, I'm going to pause really quick. Money Mondays are this every Monday, 3:30 Central. If you have comments, thoughts, questions, please ask them. I will answer them live without being interrupted by my co-host Ben here. So let's see really quickly, just taking a quick look to see if there's anything. And again, if you have something, I will read them here live on air. Let's keep going. All right, next up. What typical returns can investors expect to receive from Disrupt Equity in today's market? So that's a good question. So the market has shifted quite a bit over the last 6 months, right? It's no surprise, interest rates have been going up, as we all know. And so investor expectations have tapered. We're kind of restructuring our deals and really, trying to essentially front load more of the investor returns to help us be able to give a decent distribution up front. And so right now, most deals we're looking at that 13 to 15% IRR, where basically, throughout the life of the deal, the investor is still getting a healthy return. And we're really looking at structuring deals where we give more of the distributions up front. We don't really participate in upside to allow investors to get more cash flow. Many of our investors are cash flow centric. We like cash flow. We like essentially mailbox money for our investors. And so right now in that environment, that's what you can expect. And again, that varies by deep value add all the way up to A class, but it has dropped a couple of basis points, or actually a couple of 100 basis points, so 2% or so in IRR, what we're seeing. It is kind of changing right now where we're starting to see a little bit of a little bit of settlement on pricing, right? Where sellers have kind of reduced their expectation and now ready to essentially get a deal done, right? They need to get out, and then there's fewer buyers. And so we see it as a buying opportunity to get in there, go buy a couple of nice assets that we can hold and ride out for the next couple of years. All right. So let's see if there's any comments, questions, please ask them. Happy to answer them live. Otherwise, I will keep going. Going once, twice. Otherwise, let's see. All right. Next up, Multifamily Investor Network. It's coming up, folks. Not very far away. I think we're a little over 2 weeks out from that. So should be an awesome time. 300 people should be out there in Atlanta. We have multiple properties out there. We're probably doing a property tour. Stay tuned on that one. But it should be a good time to get out there, meet Ben and myself, meet the team, meet our friends, partners, anything and everything. So if you're new to multifamily, definitely check it out. If you're already, entrenched in multifamily, absolutely check it out, right? For our conference, we don't make any money really on it. We try to basically break even on this. And so for us, it's really about putting together an awesome group of people, network, get to meet people. And hey, that's where partners come from. So I met my partner at a meetup. So definitely get out there. You should check it out. It's coming up. And again, use the coupon code DISRUPT to get $150 off. Prices are going up every week. And again, we've already sold out of VIP, and I think we're nearing the finish line on selling out of executive tickets. So definitely check it out. Should be a fun time, right before Thanksgiving, kind of a good way to wind down the year. Next up, we have our meetup. So again, basically we do this, our online virtual meetup. It's coming up Wednesday, November 9th. Check it out. We're going to be talking about maximizing your wealth with infinite banking. I know many of you have heard about infinite banking. Maybe you've read the books. We're going to have, two of our friends come on, Erica and David, come speak about the meetup and check it out. So it should be good information. Learn about infinite banking, see if it's a fit for you, right? And for those that don't know, it's a way to essentially buy a full life term insurance policy with the idea of using it as a bank, right? So definitely a lot of content out there. It's a very interesting topic. Coming up Wednesday, November 9th. Check out disruptequity.com/virtual meetup if you'd like to register for that. And then last but not least, for those of you that know, here in Houston, we do our meetup the first Thursday of every month. And what's next Thursday, Ben? Oh, it's our meetup. So coming up November 3rd, next Thursday, we're talking about analyzing multifamily real estate deals. Ben and I will be presenting. We're going to be going through a real deal that we've done full cycle and really showcase what we looked for in the deal, why we bought it, what happened during the hold, and what the sale looked like, right? And ultimately, what were the returns for investors. Should be really, really good information. And again, should be a great place to network and meet people. We typically get 100, 200 people out there. So, would love to see you folks out there. So if you're interested, check out disruptequity.com/HTX Meetup. That's here in Houston. If you're anywhere in Texas, would love to see you guys out there. Houston's not that far unless you're in El Paso. That I'll give you guys a break. And so with that said, if you have any comments, questions, thoughts, please ask them. I will answer them here live. Otherwise, I'm going to wind it down here. Get off of this pretty simple. So going once, twice. All right. Well, that said, Money Mondays, we do this every Monday, 3:30 Central. Next week, we're talking about what happens after investing in an apartment deal. So we'll kind of do a deep dive on what to look for, what happens, and go from there. Thank you.